All right, I'll start recording and we're good to go. All right, welcome back to this episode of a Series of Wonders event. I'm your humble DM, Robin. Joining us today by Kenzie as our dwarf cleric Hamura, Stefan, our human sorcerer Rainy, Alex, Suits, the Tabaxi warlock, Nathan, Viking, the Icemire paladin, and Kat, playing Tali, the wood elf rogue. So, previously on the episode, the group actually successfully entered the city without having to wait for several hours longer. And once they entered the city with the help of one rat folk named Jericho Ratless, who you call him Jerry. And he sat you guys down in this half-broken tavern in the chasm. But to your surprise, the tavern is actually quite decent. At least it's habitable. The food is nice-ish. And yeah, you rest for the night, thinking that you might escape once again from the terrible assassin named Flash. And after that, you slept for almost a whole day. And around 9 p.m. the other day, you set off to enter the city. And now you're behind the walls, passing through security checks. And thanks for Jerry again, who grants you the pass for entering the city. And now you're inside. And you guys part ways. Each of you towards different directions to complete different objectives. Well, I'll just say we start with the group that's heading to the Hall of Justice. So that will be Viking and Hamura, along with the Goblin, who you can see right now. It's a small, nice token. Just for the record, Rivani and Suits are going to the House of Knowledge, and Tali is going alone to Fen, to go sell the goods you guys acquired before and try to buy something along the way. Yeah.
It's our fence.
Yes, basically.
Whenever we steal, she can sell.
Or whenever she steals, she sells. Whatever.
I've been playing a lot of Skyrim lately, so I'm stealing everything and selling it back.
I prefer to call her a redistribution engineer.
Yeah. All right. So, as Viking and Hamura carrying the goblin towards the temple, or at least the direction Korra sent you guys on, you see, rising into the immeasurable height is a dome rounded on all sides and radiant as the heavens, even at night. Magnificent mason work along with delicate carvings can be seen everywhere. The thing that draws most of your attention is the window on the front side of the dome. It actually looks like a pair of gauntlets bounded by red strings and seared on a shield. So, if you wish to, you can check to see if you know what it is. It doesn't look like any symbol. It looks oddly familiar. However, it doesn't look like any symbol you have seen before. So.
That'd be a religion check.
Yes, that'll be a religion check if you wish to roll for it. Okay. Homura immediately knows that, that will be the combined symbol of the triad. So you know that the triad are three gods that formed an alliance with each other. So the first one will be Tyr, the main god, who's god of justice. Ilmater, the broken god, god of suffering, and Torm, the true god of duty. So it is designed ingeniously to combine the holy symbols together. So you think probably it's because the Hall of Justice actually serves for three of the order. which is unusual. Yep. As you are looking around, you heard a thunderous voice shouting, "Halt! Stop right there! State your business, strangers." What would you like to do?
I'll stop.
Okay.
I'll listen to the voice.
Okay. So you guys can see in the front gate, about 3 guards is standing in front of it, and one of them is pulling his hands out and asking you guys to stop. So
we have someone who needs healing. We're hoping to find help here.
The guard looks at you, and at this angle he couldn't see the goblin, so he says, "I don't see anyone injured. If it's not too severe, come back tomorrow."
They have a curse on them and they're dying. We'd appreciate some help.
The guards turn around and seems like he's talking to someone, like just to ask what to do with the situation. And about 2 seconds later, he turns around and says, "Fine, you'll be escorted by these 2. Do not do anything funny."
I wasn't planning.
Okay. So the 2 guards actually escort you guys inside. As you pass through the front gate, red columns paired up on both sides and continue on, forming a straight line on the gray marble floor. You notice a well-cared garden within the confinement of the columns, which is blossomed with white lilies, purple cosmos, and blue roses. At the center of the garden is a fountain with a stone statue, featuring a well-equipped knight, holding a shield in one hand and a sword in another. And the shield looks awfully familiar. The sword looks awfully familiar.
Oh shit. Insight check? I don't know. I'm thinking it's
roll
similar
for
to my
insight.
sword.
Or perception. This is
Or
perception.
maybe.
Roll for perception? Perception? Nope.
I'm screwed either way.
Yep. So
Equally screwed.
you think that is probably someone you used to know, like the knight. You're not sure. Maybe. Yeah. Homura, you can roll for it if you wish to.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you
This is why I
look
brought
at the
you.
sword, immediately look at Viking sword, and yeah. Underneath the disguise of the jewels, apparently the sword is the statue that's holding the sword. The sword is apparently the Pale Justice, but in its original form, instead of the currently semi-sealed form. Yep. And you guys walk inside. I don't think you talk to Viking about this at this moment. Nope. Yeah. You just let him get confused. Like, what is it? All right.
On my way through, I toss a coin, one copper piece into the coin, or into the fountain.
So as you toss the copper piece into the fountain, you notice that behind the fountain is actually a group of priests, along with paladins who are currently doing their prayers. Actually, you can hear they saying, "Guard over us." Tyr, as well as Tome, as well as Ilmater. So as we seek to rid the world of evil, protect the innocent, and defend our home.
I gulp, like as I hear protection of like try not to be conspicuous.
Okay. So you do wish to approach them, or do you wish to just move along?
I will.
Okay.
Oh shit.
So as you approach them, you heard a familiar voice saying, "Ah, magnificent, isn't it?" After Mount Hotnout erupted in 1451 DR, The Hall of Justice was one of the few buildings left almost untouched by the pyroclastic flow, all thanks to the protection of the Triad. And you guys turn around. You see Darren actually standing alongside with Sildar, just on one side of the pillar, looking at you guys, smiling. Yeah.
Hello again.
Hello.
Oh God, they're dead.
No, they're still alive. Last you know, they actually escort Yarno, the wizard the Glasstaff you defeated, back to the city for trial, and which you assume they're here for that business. As you guys approach, Darren actually shakes both of your hands, and although he took notice on the goblin, he didn't say a word, or both of them, not a word, and he just says, "So, what brings you guys here? I thought last I heard you guys were still on the hunt for the Rockseeker brothers."
We still are. We ran into some trouble with the dragon, though.
With
And
what?
when-
Darren's
Yeah.
like frowning, like, what? I thought we were rid of dragons for a long time.
But we were escaping and ran into some more trouble with an assassin, and this goblin helped us, and got really hurt in the process, and we're here to help.
I actually heard more absurd story before, but this is quite something. And he turns
I'm
around.
not shitting you, I promise.
Yeah, and he turns around and inspects the goblin.
I chime in and say, "Does yours involve a floating dwarf?" And I slyly look over at Amora.
Well, to you, it might be surprising
One
for
time.
you, but I actually seen a bunch of floating dwarfs before.
Yeah, see, it's not that unusual.
And he
Racial trait.
inspects Homura as well. So, I can sense a trace of the holy mark on you. It's faint, but still.
Yeah, that happened with the dragon, and yeah, it was a time. It was a time.
Not some pleasant experience I expected.
It wasn't awful. I mean, it could have been worse.
Well, it's good to know you guys are still alive. You are, aren't you? Like, where's the rest of your group?
They're also in the city.
Okay. So, everyone's safe? No
Yeah.
one's harmed?
Ish.
Good here.
Safe-ish.
Safe-ish. Alright. He continues to inspect the goblin, and he says, looks like he's been poisoned as well as cursed. Though the wound looks interesting. Have you tried to pull out the dagger? As he just inspect the dagger. He doesn't pull it out, but he's like inspecting it closely.
Yeah, our friend here is kind of against us doing that, and I just kind of brush the dagger gently.
The goblin moans like in more pain.
Why you gotta be such an asshole? God. From my experience,
Yeah.
I didn't want to pull it out until there were more skilled healers around.
Well, then you're in the right place.
Thankfully.
Yeah. I don't think we can wait any longer, so I'll go get the high priest.
Thank you.
And he goes around to the side doors of the hall and just vanish. And Sildar is like standing beside you guys, like basically giving you guys a tour, like keeping you guys busy while Darren is out to search for the high priest. And it took about like 30 minutes or so, and the Darren returns with the high priest alongside him. as you guys see, he's a tall man. Like he's a tall-looking man, and with like slender gestures, and yeah, like robes and all kind of fancy like looking garments and like equipment on him. And as he approached you guys, he's like, "I heard there's someone I need to check. Is that the case?"
Yes.
Very
I hope
well
you
then.
don't mind. Hope you don't mind it's a goblin.
Very well then. I heard from Darren you guys did a bunch of work for him, and I really appreciate that. He's a true valuable asset to our order, and I hate to see anything happen to him. I'm glad you guys can help him. And he starts
Wonderful.
inspecting the goblin and says, "We need a quite more like better better equipped place for this kind of rituals to be performed. So follow me, please, as we enter the inner chamber. And do you wish to follow him?"
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys all follow him down to one side of the inner chamber. It looks like a place for that serves semi as an altar as well as a resting room for like before a ceremony, all that kind of stuff. And he sets you guys down and says this might take a while. And like he lays the goblin onto the altar, and he pulls out like a small dagger and starts to cut around the edges. It doesn't bleed. Like it doesn't bleed like you used to try to pull out the dagger from before. It actually cuts right through the skin as if they were like barks, like tree barks. So it's like easy. You can see why the dagger is not advised to be pulled out. Apparently, it's a ceremonial dagger that's been stuck on the goblin's body, and there are like hooks around the edges that makes the dagger sinks in even deeper, and it gets harder to pull out directly. So as he cut right through and pulls out a chunk of flesh out of the goblin's body. The goblin is like, you don't know what the high priest did, but right now he's unconscious, but it doesn't seem like he feels the pain, as if he was blocked from the pain. And the chunk of flesh was pulled out, and the wound immediately starts to grow gray. Like the color just starts to spread, as if like that triggers something. And the high priest put both of his hands onto the wound and starts doing the prayer. And right now we'll move to Rivani and Suits as the ceremony continues.
So what do you think we should be calling ourselves? I have a bunch of names.
Yeah.
What do you think?
As you guys are walking down the road, you heard Suits saying that. What do you say, Rivani?
How about the Neverwinter friends?
Very, very interesting. But we've never met in Neverwinter. This is about the first time. Well, it's the second time I've been to Neverwinter. Why am I doing the voice? We're in public. Nobody else around. How about the League of Lost Souls? Seems ominous.
Or the Misfit crew?
Mix Vachina. That's a bit weird one, and it might grow on you. Or even maybe 4.5 Adventurers, maybe? Exterminitos Banditos. Limited liability company.
I don't know.
As you guys are walking down the road, it's dark. Like there are still lanterns on both sides of the road to like light up the path. It looks entirely different from the chasm. The chasm is like dirty, crooked, and broken, as the Protector's Enclave, the area you're currently in, is bright and like buildings are well cared. You can see some structures that were recently built, like the brand fresh, like the kind of sort of new feeling on the stones. And some structures are still, like some buildings are still in constructions. You can see the wooden beams like all alongside the buildings. So you assume like it is recovering from what you heard about the eruption of the mountain. You assume that the city is recovering from the pain, although it's been decades ago. Yeah.
It's still strange to see there's permanent buildings all over the place. Back where I live, this isn't a thing. Used to just been making little. We normally make like little huts. That's about as much as we do. So it's easily taken down.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing like these massive. Weird. It kind of just leaves you in one place.
So, Rainy, from what Suits are talking about, you can picture like a vivid image of a nomadic tribe, like building up cottages, like small, like it doesn't sustain for like permanent use, but like tents, you can easily carry them around and move along the way. So yeah, as you guys were continuing the conversation, a moderate building like appears in your sight. Like perhaps a little bit too moderate for a building you're seeking. Judging by what the bartenders provide you with the knowledge, you will assume that you're looking at the House of Knowledge. However, it looks a bit, like I said, it looks a bit too moderate for such a well-known landmark. Like, no matter which angle you perceive it, it looked just like a simple stone structure with not much to talk about. Like, do you wish to approach?
Yeah, I'll approach it.
Okay, so the front door, like two heavy wooden doors, like it's currently closed. As you approach, you can try to push it open if you wish to.
I guess I'll go and see if they open.
Okay. It's currently open. Like, Rainy, to your experience, the House of Knowledge is always open, even in like the after hours, like normally off business hours, because they provide shelter for those who seek knowledge. At least it's what it used to be when you were still in Neverwinter. Yeah.
So yeah,
Sounds kind of ruffians.
So yeah, I push the door open and I relay that to it's just that it's always open.
Okay.
You who want
here now.
to find more knowledge.
Yeah. So as you push open, there's a counter in front, like just about 5 steps away from the main door, and behind it is like the normal library scene. You can see bookshelves alongside with bookshelves, and yeah, you can see some scholars are currently walking around. Hold on, let me change to something. Come on. All right. I forget.
Change positions.
All right. Anyway, I don't think I have it here, but all right. An old man is sitting behind the counter as you guys approach. He looks extremely pale and down to the bone, kind of skinny. You will say that even a skeleton would look chubby in comparison to him. He's like, eyes are half closed as you can clearly see him reading something. He didn't even lift his head up when you guys approach, and he just says, if you know the rules, just keep it quiet. the House of Knowledge is welcoming everyone. But if you seek specific instructions, you'll need to talk to me. He's still not looking up. He's just looking at his book, quite like just.
Do you happen to know where we could find information on the geography of Phandalin, or at least the area?
Phandalin? As he looks up. Oh, it's you. He looks at Rivani, like, says that. And then he looks at Suit. Oh, it's
nice
you.
to meet you again.
Have we met? I feel like I've been here before.
Rivani, you don't think you recognize him ever, but it seems like he recognized you guys.
I'll say nice to meet you all the same.
Oh yeah.
I'm friendly like that.
Yeah, you guys probably don't remember. I wasn't in this form before. Remember the Nothic you guys saved from before?
Oh, it's you!
Yeah.
Nice to see you again.
Pleasure.
How you been doing? Good? Good?
What can I say? I was back to my normal form. You can see he's not particularly happy of that. Like, you get the feeling like normal people, if they got changed into a Nothic, have to feed on dead corpses and like insatiable hunger for knowledge. You'll be grateful if you are returned to your whatever normal form you were. But it doesn't look like he's expressing any feelings of happiness of sort.
So what's going on? You all right? Happy. What happened? Because you used to be
like a high pitched noise. You used to be a high pitched noise. Whatever.
Nothic was really you.
No. He gives Suits like a pitiful look and says, "You're the same as me before. We both served Ogama for a time. I was a seeker, just like you, once before."
Really?
No.
Look what the insatiable knowledge, like the search for knowledge, got me into. That's why I'm not particularly happy. I'm glad someone reversed the curse for me, but he just shakes his head.
You've given up on the life.
I sure am.
Well, I'm kind of conflicted now because I feel sorry for him, but I also feel a little pretty uncomfortable knowing that this is the guy I gave my secrets to.
Yeah.
Back then.
He looks at you, Rivani, with a kind of look and says, "If you're worried about your past being known, don't. Besides the fact I know I was transformed into a Nothic, the knowledge I acquired during that time is long lost. Funny, isn't it? The man who seeks knowledge lost the greatest knowledge he ever get."
The irony.
Yeah, both. Like, he's looking at both of you and just says, "Yeah."
Well, I'm happy to. I guess I'm happy that you're human now. I think.
Yeah.
At least you can live a normal life now.
It's far from normal. I'm still here. You don't see me running away from Ogma. which I should have done. But now I just want to be a librarian, just quietly reading books. I would advise you to do the same. He looks especially at suits when he says this. The secret life is nothing more than a burden.
I understand that. I mean, more than most, considering I've been his servant since I was born. I never really had a choice. So.
A pact can be broken if you have the will.
If you got a book on that, I'll read it.
He,
as of right now, it's
for the first time, he chuckles for a bit. Like, it's awful to see a skeleton-like figure chuckles. It looks horrifying. Still, like, he looks, for the first time, a little bit amused. But then he turns back and says, well, if you're in search for specific knowledge, it will require you to do a certain puzzle. This is just one of our, you can call it policy, you can call it rules, you can call it all you want. But you guys heard of the eruption of the Mount Hotnout, right? I don't think. Yes. So at the time before, we used to share knowledge all around the world. Like, we welcome everyone who enters the house of knowledge with open arms. However, things have been changed, and we afraid, like, though Ogma doesn't feel the same, we mortals afraid that these knowledge could be easily used to devious agendas if fallen into the wrong hands. So we'll need something to prove that you're actually a fellow knowledge seeker. If you don't think you can handle it, just turn back and go.
I welcome the challenge.
What kind of proof are you looking for?
It's a simple puzzle, really. Just a test of normal logic, which any knowledge seeker should have known. And it has nothing to do with alignment. It only has something to do with whether or not you're a true knowledge seeker. Yeah.
Doesn't sound so bad.
Okay.
Doesn't sound
So
bad.
he presents you guys the puzzle. He actually brings out 3. Like, you guys see him going in the back for about 20
puzzle
minutes
do we
or so.
choose?
Yeah, and then he brings out 3 boxes. So he says, there present you here are 3 boxes, each constructed by different materials, as you can see, gold, silver, and copper. One contains a book with the knowledge you seek. Each box is branded with 1 sentence. And you guys can see on top of the box, and the gold one says, the book is in this box. The silver one says, the book is not in this box. And the copper one says, the book is not in the gold box. Like, only 1 sentence is true. Which
Can you
box
say that again?
contains the book? I'll give you guys the riddle, the puzzle, actually. Puzzle. Hold on. Handout. Puzzle. Okay. So it's here. Show to players. You should probably be able to see that now.
Mysterious note.
It says.
Not in this box. Book is not.
It says puzzle.
Is it supposed to be one of them is true and the other two are false?
Yes.
Or there's two of them that are true and one of them is false?
Here.
Well, only
One
one
sentence.
sentence is
Yeah,
true.
only one sentence. Is
Okay.
Well, as you guys are thinking, let's move to Tali to see what she's up about. So, Tali, as you're walking like closer to the docks, to where the direction leads you, the dock at night is when the sin of Neverwinter shines bright. All kinds of lowlife doing all sorts of shady business around every dark corner. You see prostitutes, like you see like back alley fenders. You see like goons, like clubbering some poor fella. Just all sorts of shady details. Weird symbols and scribbles can be seen from time to time. So, for you, you easily with your passive perception, you easily notice that they are thieves' cans. And the instruction, some part says, we got goods. If you wish to like sell stuff, just follow the instructions. Or some says, looking for prostitute, looking for hired goons, or all kinds of stuff. So.
I'll follow one of the markings to somewhere to sell my stuff.
Okay, so the one that caught your attention is says in SafeScan, a good place for business. So as you follow the instructions, after about like a few dozen turns, you found yourself at the back end of what appears to be an abandoned warehouse. And a bunch of shady figures gather around a plain-looking man as you appears at the back end of the warehouse. He looks plain and simple, like with not even one small distinctive detail to separate him from random strangers. And they don't say a word when you approach. They just look at you cautiously. Like most of them are wearing hoods, and you, even with your dark vision, you can see through the hoods. Like some of them have veils covering. Some of them have veils covering their faces. Some of them wear masks. You can't tell for sure. Okay, they all seem to be very quiet at this point.
Alright. If none of them move to block my way, I'll just nod my head in greeting and let myself in.
Okay, so you assume that they are gathering outside for the specific reasons. So the warehouse seems empty if you wish to enter. Just one man like sitting behind a wooden table, and he's wearing one glasses on one of his eyes, and just says, when he sees you come in, and says, "The transaction's not open yet."
How long do I have to wait?
Like the others, outside, 20 minutes. Now go.
We'll have to wait
Yeah.
2 more scenes.
No, actually, you wait for about 20 minutes, and during the meantime, a few more like black figures just gathered in the center, and as if clockwise, the moment you think it's about 20 minutes or so, you see like the plain-looking man just stands up and just says, "For those of you who know the rules are the same. For those who are new, I'm the host of the transaction. Call me Shades if you want. For currency, we only accept golds. If you have things to exchange, there's a chamber on the side of on the side of warehouse with an appraiser. Do not try to bargain. He emphasized on not. Try to bargain unless you want to have a chat with the sharks. Our security only extends to the moment you left this block. Once the transaction is done, anyone who can't keep their paws clean and mouth shut will beg for a quick death. And finally, no one messes with the transaction. No one. If you follow the rules, your return will be welcomed. If you don't, we'll see about that. Without further ado, let's begin. And apparently it's some sort of like inner circle trade. You see people just talk to each other, like they use their they use a black cloth to cover what their hands are doing. Like people are being extremely careful when they try to pull something out. They do it extremely slow. So to your knowledge, they're probably trying not to be confused as they're drawing weapons. And they hide their items underneath the cloth, and they exchange a few words between each other. It's so faint you can barely hear one saying anything. Shade is standing right in the center, and sometimes folks just goes to him and asks for exchange, and he just nods, and like either he either reaches out for a bag of gold, which you presume it's gold because he says the currency only accepting gold, and or sometimes he exchange in certain boxes or wooden crates of sorts. You don't know for sure what's inside. So yeah, do you wish to talk to some guy just to sell your stuff?
Yeah, I'll go for someone that looks like pretty non-threatening, just low level.
Okay.
Nothing crazy.
So looking around, you can see like one guy. Like he looks like a sailor of sort. He's probably the very few ones that are not wearing a cloak. You can obviously see him like have an eye patch on one of his eyes. He's just standing there like exchanging stuff. Yeah. As you approach him, he just says, "You got anything?"
Yeah. I'll show the 3 small bottles of reagents.
Okay. He takes it, looks at it, and just just shook his head. Says, "We don't take materials. Anything else?"
Okay. The necklace.
Okay. This time he examined the necklace carefully. He looks at you and back to the necklace. You can see him like doing this finger, like kind of calling gesture to someone besides him, and the other guy just moves in. It's actually a woman, like, and she's just looking at the pendant and whisper into the man's ear for a few words. The sailor looks back at you and says, "Non-magical."
Non-magical.
Then 200.
Done.
And he reaches into his bag and gives you a bag of gold and just hand it over, and just pouch the necklace back to whatever he's hiding his items. Anything else?
No, thank you.
Okay. He nods and like just go on and talk to the others. Hold on, let me check. What's your passive perception? Kind of.
Round. It's 16.
16. Yeah. So, in your senses, you probably notice that there are certain figures around where they're gathering. You assume that they are the security shades mentioned about from before. By the side of the docks at this moment, you also see like a few ships sliding in to the dock at night without raising anyone's attentions, like as if they pass through because there is a huge lighthouse on the outskirt of the dock, and you can clearly see it. However, usually cities won't allow ships to enter at this time of night for safety issues. However, these two ships looks very suspicious at this point, just sliding in without even making a noise. This is highly unusual.
Smuggler ships. I'm delighted.
Maybe.
Oh, look around for someone that looks like an alchemist
Okay.
to get rid of my reagent.
So you look around, you don't see anyone who looks like an alchemist. Normally, as your knowledge, you assume that they usually send out probably their hitman or probably along with someone who can verify the items so they don't get mugged or get killed. Yep. This is not a good place for this is not a normal merchant's place, just exchange transaction. Yeah. This is a shady back alley business. So yeah.
Someone that would want to buy alchemy goods off me, really.
Yeah. No. So you inspect around, you see someone taking which you assume are scroll boxes and some huge crates. You don't know what for sure. And as you're about to look further, you heard with your passive perception, you easily heard someone whispering on the side of the warehouse. They don't expect you to show up, so the whisper is not that quiet. You can easily hear what they're saying. One of them is actually telling the other, the shipment is in at night. Call Halia. So, yeah.
All right.
Okay. Yep. So, I'll let you continue, and we're back to Viking and Homura as they were the high priest is currently performing a very complex ritual. You can all see he's doing this prayer, and both of his hands are on the body of the goblin, and it is kind of a weird sight when you see the glowing light of both of his hands is kind of like they're squishing out the venom and into a vaporing snake in the air. It looks oddly vivid, and you assume that if you breathe that in, you'll probably suffer some traumatic damage. And as the last drop of the vapor is vaporized, you can see now the color is gone, back to normal flesh, and the blood is about to pour out as the healing power starts to grow back the flesh. And yeah.
Does the smell improve?
You don't smell a thing. That's the horrible part. You assume you will smell something. Something poisonous, something sweet, something just vicious to your body, but no, you don't smell a thing. As if the vapor is just gone. Yeah. And the high priest looks really exhausted at this point. He's he kind of sits down and just says, I think he's done here. I've did all I can.
Thank you so much.
The curse is not that easy to break. But yeah, as he says that, he smashed the dagger, and along with the altar, just on the edge of the blade. And as the moment the blade is broken, you all hear a loud scream, like a vicious scream, just wails at you. It kind of reminds you guys of Agatha. How she wails. Yeah. And yeah. As the sound only lasts for a second, and then it's gone. Now it's truly broken.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What do we owe you?
You guys don't owe me anything. He says in a calm voice, I heard from Darren how you guys helped him. Like I said, this is my way to say thank you. This is the least I can do. Yeah.
I'm grateful for it.
If you excuse me, I need some rest. And he just rings a bell on the side, and like 2 paladin just rushes in and just says, High Priest, are you okay? And like the High Priest just says, I just need some rest. Maybe find some room for our guest here. And one of the guy just looks at Viking. You think he recognized something, because his face from like genuinely surprised to see High Priest and to see you guys, to a certain extent of disgust when he sees you. And but the High Priest is still around, so he reluctantly nods and says, I'll get it done. And the other guy just puts his arm around the High Priest and just kind of walks him out. And yeah.
Which of the, like, would I recognize any symbols on him? Like what?
You
order
see
he is?
like a gauntlet on one side of his armor, on the shoulder side, on the shoulder plate.
Okay, but that's not a religious symbol.
It is.
If he's, I thought
if you wish to
Order of the
roll
Gauntlet.
for religious, you can roll for it.
It's a symbol of a gauntlet.
Yes, it's a
I
symbol
thought-
of the gauntlet. Sorry, my bad. It's a symbol of the gauntlet on his right hand side shoulder patch. You can easily tell, judging by what you and Homura saw before, you can easily tell that's the symbol of Tome, the god of protection and sacrifice. Yep. He just stares at you like not in a polite way, so to speak.
Do we have a problem here, sir?
We might. He says that and he turns around. But not today. He waves you guys to follow. And yeah, he leads you guys towards another chamber. It looks well decorated. Obviously, it's provided for guests to have a rest in this place. And the goblin has already been like moved to this room, as you assume probably the other guy just went back and carried the goblin to this room. And as you guys enter, he just the guy who smirks at you, it looks like an elf, like an half elf, so to speak. His ears are not as pointy as one of your comrades, so he's not about to leave anytime soon. Like, he actually sits down on one of the chairs inside the room and kind of just stares at you guys.
Can you explain what's in the room?
Oh, the room is like just normal sized room, and with furnitures and like well decorated stuff. There's a fireplace besides the chairs, and nothing much to tell. There are bookshelves on both sides of the fireplace, and that's about it. He sits.
Is there
like
somewhere to like wash up?
Oh, not exactly. You assume that it's probably outside of the room. This place is just for like guests who have temporary rest, so probably not if you're seeking for a restroom of sorts.
No, I'm looking for like a hand basin. You know how they
Okay.
used to have
Yeah,
a pitcher of
like-
water and
Yeah, but
I am covered in goblin blood still, I'm assuming.
yeah.
You were shit.
You're
No,
still,
we've had a day.
Yeah, you're still.
But I've been
yeah.
carrying him
covered,
yet
yeah.
again.
As you were, because
Oh.
you were carrying him along the way, so half part of your armor is covered in blood, and there's nothing to clean it off per se. So what would you like to do?
I'm gonna check on our goblin friend.
All right, he's
Kinda look
breathing
over him.
like normal now, like he's breathing again. Like that's a good sign, and he looks like he's sleeping. He's sleeping at a really well rest. So having a really well rest. So nothing much to say. The other guy, the other paladin, just sitting there as if he's guarding you guys. Like,
I ask him if he has if there's a latrine or chamber pot around that I could use. Been a long journey.
he stares at you for a second, and then says, "I'll walk you to it." And he just walks you to somewhere near, like it's about 15 steps away from the original rooms. It's really close, but he's as if he's not feeling safe to leave you for his purposes per se. Yeah. So he leads you to a fountain. Like you easily clean off. Like sorry, a faucet.
We go in the
A
fountain that they were
My
praying
bad.
at.
A faucet. My bad.
Sorry.
He just throws you into the fountain and just leave you to drown.
In
Anyway,
the
yeah.
holy fountain.
Yeah. So
Horrible.
Yeah.
Does he at least let me close the door, or is there no door?
there's a sort of like a curtain of sort. He just pulls.
Oh, I
it
leave it
up.
open.
He just.
I'm gonna
pulls
use
it.
the washroom
Yeah.
and leave it open,
He pulls it
and make
as
eye
you're-
contact with it. No, I
Yeah.
keep it open. He closes it, I open it back up. I don't trust him.
He just stares at you and just walk to the side of the door. Just stares at you as you're washing yourself.
Sorry, my mom came in there.
Yeah, don't worry.
Cake?
Cake.
How can I go wrong with cake?
Cake. Can we see that? Can we see that?
Let's see the cake.
Nice.
It's like a whoopie pie cake thing that we got at
Oh
the
my
store.
god, it looks so awesome.
Yeah, I'm just totally making eye contact with him while I'm at the washroom.
He kind of walks towards where you put your armor as you're washing. You do take your armor off, right? I assume.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna have to.
Yeah. So as you take off your
But
armor,
my watch on me, like
yeah,
kind of in pantaloons.
yeah. He actually picks up your armor.
Oh, hey, now, don't be touching another man's armor without his permission. That's not cool, man. I don't go around prodding your codpiece.
I will have to. You're a worshipper of Merkel.
And your
You
point?
don't belong here.
Well, obviously you're high
I would
priestess,
advise
son.
you to leave.
Oh,
Before I
yeah,
have to
right.
cut
You can't just
down.
shove it up here. Like, I'm being very belligerent at this point.
Okay. You can see him.
Your high priest thought it was okay for me to be here.
Man
Obviously,
can
he
be
sees class
mistaken,
when he sees
misleaded.
he recognizes class when he sees it.
Man can be misguided, misleaded. I know Darren let you guys in, but he's old.
And
He's an old fool.
yeah, I've also recognized sometimes old dirty gauntlets can also get too rusty for their use or to be useful anymore, and I totally poke at him.
So,
I'm just hanging out with the goblin.
yeah.
I'm totally like
Kamua is still in the room with the goblin,
poking
just
that piece.
totally not knowing what happened. As two men in a washroom, just one is half naked, one is like standing right beside him, doing God knows what.
Why is it I'm always naked and getting into fights?
God knows why. Maybe try not to provoke it next time.
A
Anyway,
thought pops up in Suit's mind. The Naked Angel is that should be a good name. That's a good name for a bar.
yeah. Anyway, this guy looks at you and just says, "Well, hero, why don't you show us your true color, huh? Oh wait, you already did, and it really suits you, you gray waste." So you know that Merkel's domain is actually in a place called Grey Waste. So it's both being sarcastic as well as being humiliating, basically.
Clever double entendre.
Yep.
Yeah, but at least my god is still useful.
Yeah.
At the end of the
Useful?
when you're done,
He just
when
he just
you
smirks.
eventually will make your meet my god.
Oh,
and
they already did.
I'm sure he'll put you in his place.
Oh, they already did. Don't you know? Tome is the one that puts him to his demise. Or did you fail to learn that when you were taking a lesson?
Only the delusional think, and I'm circumventing his name out of character. Only the delusional think Torm is the one really in charge.
Yeah, they've been
You
gone a really
think
long
you
time. They think-
poked some sore spot as you were saying Torm is not the one in charge. He grabs you by the neck and like just pounds you to the wall and just says, "Do you wish hold on, before I say anything, do you wish to avoid his grapple?"
Sure, why not?
Roll for how do you like to do it? Do you wish to fight
I'm
him off?
brawny, so it'd be athletics. Like
Okay.
rather than my quick reflexes, it would be like
Okay.
a dodge.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
roll for athletics, and I'll
Yeah.
roll for his.
Oh Jesus!
Whoops. Let's see if he's doing worse, or I don't know how worse.
He has to roll a natural one
Yeah,
and
he
have
has to roll a
athletics.
natural one. Let's see.
I'm just turning my hand back and forth into a hammer and it's like,
Yeah, Hamura is playing with her hands, and nope, you don't avoid his grapple. So his hand like wraps you around your neck and like just slams you to the back of the wall. It doesn't
Question.
cause you damage.
Am I wearing pants?
No, you're not wearing anything.
Perfect. A little poop comes out.
Okay. He doesn't waver, even
Oh
if you
my God.
poof.
I like how
just-
that's the part of what you are half naked
He just pissed. He just
part of you.
like pissed at you and just says, "You're not worthy."
I didn't know you liked men this way. As I'm like getting choked.
Yeah. Yeah, joke all you want. I'll end you if I ever see you again outside of this house. Now leave.
Are you gonna wait until I'm naked again to attack me?
He just throws you. I'll challenge you to a duel anytime, anywhere. Just throws you to the side of the of the room, and he just walks out.
If I throw my poop at him, do I get like a plus to disease?
No, but you'll have to pick up fast
Range
enough
attack?
before he leaves the room. So yeah.
I'm just wondering. For a friend, I'm wondering.
Anyway,
Hey, at
Hamura,
least
as
take
you
my
were
armor.
what?
More
No,
so
he doesn't take your
disappointed
armor.
in you.
He throws it down like it's trash.
Did I even get his name? Like, or is he just a prick like that?
You can easily spot him. Like, he's an half elf, and it's not that much of half elf in the paladin as you first enter and look. You don't know if it's because the order or if it normally it's like just human around here. For some reason. And for Hamura, as you were sitting around playing with your hands, the goblin actually awake. He just
Okay. Welcome back to the land of the living.
Yeah, thanks. Ugh. Wait, it's not hurting anymore. Huh. I guess I have you to thank.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
you saved our ass, so I figured I'd return the favor.
No, nothing much to be thinking about. He just extend his hand, like he's like still probably a little bit not fully conscious of what happened before, and he just shakes your hand. He extends his right hand and try to shake your hand and just says, "All right, name's Nix."
Hammer.
Yeah, as you extend your hammer hand, it's like not knowing where to put, but eventually he pats you on the hammer. It's like, okay, okay, good. Name's Nix. I got a request from someone to provide you with aids. And apparently I sort of failed. He just looks down at himself like just
I don't know. I think you did a pretty good job. We're alive. You're alive.
Flash is still on with Flash still on your tail. My mission is not done yet. Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
We will.
I mean, we survived a dragon. The dragon's not dead, but we're not dead either, so I call it a victory.
He looks at you,
Call it a draw.
kind of tries to laugh for a little bit, but he doesn't. He then says, yeah, Roland certainly did his part. I'll give him that. And
Who are you people?
yeah, you're not there. You can't ask
Your
anything.
suits in the back of your mind.
Yeah. And yeah, so as you guys were talking, we're gonna move to Ravanian suits. The old man is still looking at you like waiting.
It's
for you
got to
to
be
answer.
silver. I'm pretty sure it's silver.
You only get one chance. If you fail, you fail.
I don't know. What did you get from it?
Ask which box is telling the truth.
Zone of truth. I'm a warlock. I can't do that.
Yeah. Ravani can if she's had the spell.
Zone of truth.
So-
Ask each box. Are you telling the truth? I mean,
Wait.
I'm telling the truth. I swear.
Every box
funny
is
part-
saying they tell the truth.
The
I
box,
always
like you
think
realize
it's
the box
brutal.
resisted your spell. You're like, oh, what? You son of a bitch.
Yeah. So he pulls out a pocket watch actually and says, "Tick tock.
Oh.
You got
Well-
5 more minutes to solve this problem."
Well, let me, if you allow me, here's the hypothetical. So, if the gold box is true, then and there's only one sentence that's true, or let's say it's in the gold box, then what it says on the box is true, but the silver box is true, so that can't work. It's two sentences that are true. If you have the copper box, if it's in the copper box, then the copper box is true and also is the silver. That's two sentences. Can't be the copper. So it has to be the silver. Because if it's the silver box is telling a lie. Gold box is telling a lie, and the copper is true. So it has to be the silver box.
He
That's actually what I was thinking as well. Suits.
he stops the clock and looks at you and just have a smile on his face and opens up the silver box, and you can clearly see inside the book. Yeah. And
Okay, so I have another book that I was somebody had told me about, but I'm not entirely sure if I'd be able to find it. Do you guys happen to have a Tome of Clear Thought?
Tome of Clear Thoughts. He thinks for a minute and we do.
Has it been used in the last century?
Unfortunately, it has.
Damn. Well, you know how long it's been since it's been used?
Just no longer than 2 decades ago.
Ah, shoot. All right.
At this
Mhm.
point, I step in and I say, I was actually looking for something as well. I actually wanted to try and find something to help research how certain constructs are actually made.
As you were saying about construct, his eyes kind of glows for a little bit, and then he just says, "For construct, I don't think you can find much more than you already learned, Rennie. From Brother Jenkins' Tome, you were quite the acquaintance of this place. So for your knowledge, Brother Jenkins is the one that usually sits here and greets you guys for you know him since you were a child in Neverwinter, so yeah, you know him for a long time. That is why you don't recognize anyone here right now, because you don't see Brother Jenkins at this point. Yeah.
I'm like flipping through some notes that somebody had given me before I left.
Okay.
How about Tome of what was it? God, my handwriting is so bad. Tome of Leadership and Influence? I'm not entirely sure what that is, but somebody told me to look for it. What that?
We have the strategy of leadership. Unfortunately, it's not anything magical. It's just a book for pastimes. If you wish to read it, we have it in our inventory.
Yeah.
By the way, I thought you guys were seeking this book. He just pulls out the book. And just
Yeah. Hey, that's
do you
more.
wish to acquire it? I mean, I can always change
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Of course,
Yeah.
we're just also perusing for like personal things.
Okay.
This is more a business. This book's more for business, and then we have our own individual things that we want to look for.
Okay, so he puts the book onto the counter. Do you guys take it?
Yeah.
Okay. So mark the map of Wave Echo Cave and Castle Crackmall's castle. Sorry.
Okay, I'll jot down some notes from that and give him back the book.
Okay.
Also, I was looking for a I've been studying this spell book, and I kind of show him Glasstaff's spell book.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anything on like an intro to being a wizard kind of a book, or anything like wizard shorthand or something like that?
If you wish to becoming a wizard, you will need much more of a mentor instead of reading books. We do have the instructions for rudimentary sigils, all that kind of stuff. If you wish to learn some part, it is something.
Sure.
Yeah. So he goes back into the House of Knowledge, and he returns with a scroll, like a small scroll, and he says, with the rules, Riveni, you certainly know. So out of character, Riveni, you certainly know this. The House of Knowledge, the rule of House of Knowledge is usually you exchange knowledge with one item for another. He holds the parchment and says, "So, what would you have in exchange for this?"
Ooh.
Yep.
Huh. Let me look.
Okay.
Do you want me to do you want information? Oh, actually, you know what? Would this do? And I hand him the cultist book.
Oh, the Tome of the Dragon. as you reach out and grab the book, he was like, he kind of
Oh, no,
staggered
not that.
back.
The
He's like,
Spellbook.
he's
Not the
like,
Tome of the Dragon. That's in the
yeah,
in
the one you acquired from the
Black Hole.
cultist is the Tome of Dragon. He's like, and
Oh shit!
as he staggered back, he reaches out faster than you can possibly imagine. He just grabs the book and says, "Where?" With a really, really dead serious tone, he says, "Where did you get this?"
We kind of got this off of some
He
Cult of the
grabs-
Dragon cultists.
Okay. This is
This
bad.
is-
This is really bad. He grabs something behind him, and you see him pulls out a small wand, and he waves for a bit. You see like lots of chain just pours out from the tip of the wand and just locks the book like straight up tight. Where did you see the cultist?
Well, I don't know if they're. We saw him over in. Oh, what was it? Ravine? What was it at? Oh yeah, the Thunder Tree.
Yeah.
Is it the
Yeah.
same place you see? Hold on. I think it's Riddle. Is it the same place you see the druid?
Yeah. He also might not be there any. He's still there, but not really there. Kind of.
So, do you explain what happened to Riddle to him?
I mean, that's kind of like my way of explaining right
Okay.
there.
He looks a little bit confused, but he's more concerned, and he continues saying, "That means there are dragons there."
Oh yeah, there's a giant green dragon
Knew
there.
it. This is bad. We need to report to the council immediately. And like he grabs a
Do I
book.
get anything else in exchange?
Judging by the look on his face, you don't think it's a proper time to approach him with that request.
We'll discuss it later. Okay.
Yeah. He rings the bell on the side of his table, just ding, and you see like a gnome just running out from the back and says, "Brother Rob, what can I? Oh, we have guests here. Do I need to prepare?" And Brother Rob, the skinny looking man, he just says, "Not right now, Jay. Bring this man to the council immediately. Lord Neverember needs to hear this." And he extend the book to the gnome, and the gnome Jay just holds the book, just kind of confused. And then he sees the marking on the book. Then he's also, "Oh, I know. Okay. I'll get to the council immediately." And he just rushes out to the door, and for a few seconds you think he's just gone, and then he returns and says, "Well, what are you waiting for? Come, just come."
I start following him, and I motion Ravani. I also kind of like lean over to Ravani and kind of whisper, I'm like, "Oh man, that had a little bit more bargaining power than I thought."
So Ravani, do you follow suit?
Should I follow him?
Would Ravani know what that's about?
Yeah. So Ravani, you would know that the book, the Tome of Dragon, was the item you acquired from defeating the dragon. Oh no, not defeating. Defeating the dragon cultist, the cult of the dragon. So you would know, like, this is something.
Well, no,
really
about the
serious.
people that they were talking about.
Yeah, Ravani would know that Lord Neverember is the actual ruler of Neverwinter, and if something has to come to him to decide, then it's really, really serious. Like, normal people would never get the chance to meet with Lord Neverember unless they have something really serious to report. Like the last time the mountain erupt, that's something really serious that needs Lord Neverember to look out for. So
I'm just gonna assume I have no idea who this is, and Ravani hasn't told me this, so I'm like,
yeah.
all right, I guess he must be the guy who owns it. Like, he might be the person who runs this place, I guess. That's what I'm kind of thinking in my
Yeah,
head.
so
Yeah, Alex, I'm like, oh god, this has escalated so quickly.
so yeah.
In regards to like what the guy said about about me being here before and like that other guy I'm familiar with. Is that
Sorry, I can't hear you quite well. Can you repeat the sentence? Sorry.
in regards to what he said about me being here before and like the other guy that's familiar with me?
Yeah.
Is that implying that some of the knowledge that I'm personally looking for is that I already know some of that knowledge?
Yeah. You definitely know all the knowledge I just exposed. I just said to you guys. You definitely know that what brother Rob said to you. You definitely know that you were like you would have known like the House of Knowledge. You read through almost every book. So for you, it's more of a request for if there is there anything new, rather than I don't know anything about the House of Knowledge. So
Because what I've been it's sorry I was sort of trying to find anything on like the processes involved in their creation.
yeah. So
More specifically.
like you get all your basic knowledge in the House of Knowledge when you are studying here, like
Right,
when you are
okay.
studying under Kadan, and you know almost everything inside of this library. So when you enter the city, re-enter the city to ask for knowledge on construct, you are asking if they know anything new, rather than do they have
Okay.
anything you don't know, because you already know most of it. Yep.
Is there a way for me to find to refresh my memory on any of those processes and like to save them for a later date?
Okay. So you were, I assume at this moment you are still staying at the House of Knowledge, as Suits is like long gone with the gnome. Brother Rob is looking at you, kind of wondering why you didn't follow your friends, but he just says,
God, for splitting the party.
yeah, he just says, we have a much bigger matter at hand. But if you're really so desperate in finding this kind of knowledge, I won't ask you why. But yeah, we still have the basic sort of like a manual of construct. If you wish to, it's not something to build a construct. It's more like knowing their habitats and knowing how they function. If you wish to acquire this book, you can have it in exchange for something. You know the rules. In exchange for something. Are you okay?
Yes. It was one of the how to build part that I was specifically looking for.
So sorry, because you were cutting on and off. Did you just said it's not exactly what you're looking for?
It was more of the how to build
Yeah,
part
like
that I was looking
like
for.
I was saying, you read most of the book in this
Okay.
facility, and
Okay.
you learn the basics of how constructs work, and at this moment you don't think there's anything new on how to build a construct.
Okay. So assuming that I already have this knowledge, okay. So what I'm going to do then is, can I still choose to follow suits then?
Yeah.
Or-
I would just say you just realize that, oh, okay, there's nothing new for you to search, and then you just
sorry for bothering you. I
don't worry.
I keep forgetting that I've been here so many times before, and you know how it is. And
Don't worry. I know it's been a long journey, so just go ahead.
As we sort of get to the part where we sort of Suits has to go with the guys, I sort of say a quick goodbye and thank you to him, and
He nods.
I sort of just quickly notices that Neverember is sort of just the big the big shot who's in charge of things here in the city.
So Suits, you heard Rimini yelling from behind, "Oh, wait for me!" And then you heard she explains on most of the details on who Lord Neverember is, and yeah.
Well, wow, this kind of escalated quickly, didn't it? Okay,
Jay is running. The little gnome is running on ahead, quick. Just
okay. I guess we're running now.
yeah. So he's running as fast as he could with his little legs, and all right.
I'm gonna ask him real quick. Do you want me to pick you up? Because I can move really quickly if you want.
No, that would be humiliating. Just go. Just come with me and just run.
Okay.
Yeah. So at this moment, I'm gonna switch to Tali. Tali, as you were inspecting the shipment, two of the dark figure just approach you and just kind of corners you on the side and just says, "What are you listening at?"
Me? Nothing. Just waiting for a friend.
Waiting for a friend, huh?
Mhm.
You see one of the dark figure unhood himself. He's missing his front teeth. He's looking for a friend.
Mhm.
Now who might that friend be,
Oh,
my dear?
struggling with names.
Don't you know eavesdropping is bad?
Well, if
I
you talk
guess-
loud enough to be overheard, I think it's kind of your fault.
I guess we need to teach you a lesson, eh? And at this moment, Shades on the side just heard all about this. He walks forward and says, "Settle this outside."
Of course.
And you see the guy who's missing his front tooth. He's "Yeah, Shades, we'll settle this outside real quick." And he and the other guy just kind of walks you out, kind of just two on you, both of your sides, just walks you out. The moment you step out of the reach of the warehouse, roll for initiative, because the other guy is gonna stab you with his dagger.
Oh shit!
You hear a random patron walking by, kick his ass.
Oh god.
I'm making ways that I can say things.
Okay.
Even when my character's not
Bad.
So that'll be 10. I'm gonna. Oh, where's my timer? All right, that'll be 10, and the other two. Hold on. Will be. Oh shite. That's gonna be
I'm
18.
I'm dead. I'm very dead.
Nice knowing you.
Mhm.
No one's coming. No.
Ah, gee.
Nobody's coming because we don't know.
Nah.
We didn't even
Yeah,
set up
we're
an
all
alert
headed here.
system.
No.
Get right to death saving roll, please.
And she has all of her money.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the thugs are gonna go first. However, since you already know their existence, I'll let you roll for dexterity save for this one only, to see if you dodge their attack. For this one only.
What a bunch of jerk asses.
Yeah. These are not the best people in the town. These
Nope.
are the sinister criminals in this part
Yeah.
of town. So any wrong moves will be your last move.
Jerkwads can't mind their own business.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So oh shit. What's with the 30? Nope.
Impressive.
Impressive.
All right. So dex save.
Plus 10 to initiative.
See if that works. All right. You definitely dodge it. The first blade, you definitely dodge it. So the second guy on your side is gonna try to stab you. Let's see if he does it with his short scimitar. Short scimitar. What's your AC?
Shit. It is 14. Not very high.
It hits.
Oop.
So you feel the pain of the scimitar cutting through the side of your rib, dealing 4 points of slashing damage.
Rip.
Yep. It's harsh. It's harsh. Right, that'll be the end of their turn. Now it'll be your turn. What would you like to do?
You bloody morons! I'm waiting for Halia, you sacks of shit.
Wait. Hold on. The toothless guy the front toothless guy just says, "Wait. Show us your thing." So you assume that he's talking about the contract you made with Halia.
Mm-hmm.
So
I fish for it somewhere in one of my 500 pockets.
okay. So as you reach into your bags, the toothless guy says, "Nice and slowly. Don't try anything funny."
Conjures
I
like a
wouldn't know if I did.
mage hand that just flips him off the whole time.
Anyway, so after a few moments, you reach out and slowly takes out the contract you made with Halia.
Mhm.
He examines it and put his blade back and says, "She's clean."
Yeah, thanks for nothing, shitwad.
Yeah, man can't be too cautious in this certain area. Especially we have the harpers on our back. And you look just like a bloody harper.
Well, that's your problem, not mine.
Well, my dear, you need to be more careful next time then, huh? And he turns around to the other guy and says, "Hey, Conrad, you ever heard Halia said something about waiting for this elf lady?" And the other man, Conrad, says, I don't think I do. Maybe, I don't know, Robert. Maybe you should never, Halia's she never tells us anything besides wait here, stand, guard, I don't know. The toothless man just says, "Yeah, that's what I hate about her. But she's the boss. I mean,
Ease up now, or I'll have to defend her in front of you."
yeah. Well, you know what? What's your name, lady?"
What's your name?
Yeah. He asks you, "What's your name?"
And what possible use would you have for my name?
Yeah. If we have to take you to Halia, at least she'll know what you're called, right?
Yeah, it feels like dirt. I'm Tali.
Alright, Tali. Walk with that if you feel like it. Or you can try to run. And we'll see how that works.
I'd outstrip you with how, but I'll be kind and I'll walk with you.
Okay. So he's taking you to one of the ships that just approached the harbor. You guys walk alongside the docks, like as you walk through half the city blocks, it's all bright and shine. But the docks, there's no light besides the lighthouse from far end, and it's hard to see anything without dark vision. But somehow the two thugs, you think they know the route like in and out, like everything on the back of their hands. So it's easy for them to just follow a certain path. But for you, you can see about a certain distance with your dark vision. And you guys approach one of the ships. There's a carving on the side that says Wave Rider. So it's a sailing ship. It looks kind of like a combination of fishing ship and like to transport cargoes. There's a giant mermaid on the front, like just at the bump. So two thugs, Robert's leading on the front and Conrad's on the back, and just they escort you to the chamber of inside the Wave Rider. And there you see, like, instead of Holly, you see a small, like not a huge dwarf, but a buffed dwarf. Like
I don't think he's feeling good.
Alright. You see a buff dwarf, like male, like sitting on there. He's not wearing normally dwarves will wear like heavy armors. However, this one is like only wearing leather armors and just wearing a giant captain's cap and just on his head. Just he's like using it as a cover to sleep. So as you guys approach, he immediately jumps out from his seat as if he wasn't sleeping at all. He's like, "Oh yeah? What's your business?" "Oh, you, Robert. What? Want to get smashed in the mouth again?" And Robert's like, "No. We need to see Claudia, you dumbass." And the captain's like, "Well, what do you know? Lady's off for her own business. God knows where and when she'll come back." "You're welcome to sit with me." He winks at Robert. Robert's like holding his mouth and like, "Well, I guess we'll just leave for now." Yeah. And they both just walk out of the ship just with you and just says, "You know what, Charlie? We'll report to Holly once she's back. You better not let us find out that you're not the one she's expecting." Yeah. And they just let you go. Just for now. They just let you go. The moment you enter the ship, however, you do see a few craters that's open. You can't tell certain colors, but you do see humanoid figures that are struggling inside.
Oh no.
Yeah, so that's about it. Yeah. So what would you like to do next? If you wish to return to the transaction, it's still going. Like at this moment, it's still ongoing, but yeah.
It's people smuggling and they're not happy to be here, are they?
True. You don't know. You just see humanoid figures.
Yeah. Either way, there's nothing I can do by myself. I'll turn around and get back to the market.
Okay. So you get back to the market. It's like some of them are already gone. Like it's less of the crowd than you see before. Shades is like now auctioning something. He lays down the table and he puts down like 5 items on the table and cover them with black cloth and just says, "You know the drills. Those of you who stayed have been here at least once, so you know the drills."
Explain it.
I'll just observe around.
Okay. So you see, basically, they're just raising to bid for an item. So you see Shades point at one of the objects and says, "Object 1, raise your bid." And you see some of them just point out one finger, some of them points 2, and they just nod at each other, knowing that the biddings. And eventually, the first one, it's like for about 2 minutes or so, you heard the voice saying, Shades just claps on the table and just says, "Bidding's over." This one goes to, the one on the front. and he just grabs the item and just throws the inventory. Like, it's weird. You don't see people normally just throw their biddings around, but this time they do. He just grabs the one in the left side and just throws it at the front guy. The front guy catches it, examine it, make sure it's like nothing's wrong, and just leaves. Yep.
One way to know what item is which, what
Yeah.
action is.
There a catalog someone's running around with?
So the first guy, you can try to approach the first guy since he's already leaving, if you wish to.
Yeah, I'll catch it.
Okay. So the first guy, seeing you coming, just suddenly stops and just holds his stuff really close to himself, and says, "What
I'm
do
so
you want?"
sorry. I'm new here. Catalog, items up for bid. How do I know?
He looks at you. Like, you can see him inspecting you, not in any way of like, just cautiously, just not in any way funny, but just cautiously. He reaches out into his pocket and throws you like a small scroll, and just said, "If nothing else, I'll be on my way."
Thank you.
He just leaves. Yeah. So in the scrolls, you see that there are 5 objects. The first one is a black diamond. It doesn't say where it's been found. It's more like saying what it can do. It siphons the life of your enemy. The first black diamond siphons the life of your enemy. The second one is actually a crucible. It allows you to like see from far distance to scry on your enemy, basically. Yeah. The third one is a small rod. It doesn't say what it does. It says mysterious purposes. It's a small rod, like object. Yeah.
Very
Mysterious rock.
Rod.
Oh, rod.
Yeah, it's a mysterious rod.
Oh, I thought you said rock. I'm like,
Sorry.
is
I
this
heard rock.
mysterious or
Yeah,
rock?
sorry, my pronunciation probably. Yeah, a
I
mysterious
like rock
rod.
much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the fourth one is actually a huge bone that says the bones of Storm Giant. Yeah, and the fifth one is a small, like, bottled up stuff. It just says bottled darkness.
Crazy.
Oh.
So, yeah, that's about it. Every bit is like, because these items are not for, like, some of them is unstable. That's usually you know that because the parchments, the scroll actually says the bidding starts from 1 gold pieces. Because the items can be unstable. It's written down in the like smallest word you can possibly write.
Like,
It says,
pretend I lied. Yeah.
you can't like promise anything. Just you use it, you lose your life. That's your own business. Yeah, basically. Yeah.
The mysterious rod.
That was my goal. I'm
Okay.
gonna go bid one now.
So as you approach, it's already the second object has already been bid. Like it's already gone. So basically, yeah. And yeah, now it's coming to the rod. Yeah. So raise your bid. Like Shade just said, raise your bid.
And I know, like, do I know the exchange rate of 1, 2, and 3?
Yeah. So 1 means double, 2 means triple, 3 means one means double the money, and 2 means adding two. Sorry, I'm finding the rules here. Yeah, just 1 to 3 just means adding how many gold pieces on top of that. Just plain simple. Sorry, my bad. Just
Bid rate.
yeah, just
How much you can raise it by.
yeah, how much you can raise, basically.
You have to raise it.
So we start. Yeah, let's begin. Yeah, and you see a bunch of hands just moving in the air, just raising 1, 2, 3. Just yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
I'll keep raising until I crack 300 gold, at which point I'll stop.
Okay. The bidding goes through about 250 or so. Then it comes to a near stop because most people wouldn't like want to put on so many money on some item they don't know
Yeah,
for
random nonsense.
what it does.
Mystery bag.
Yes, and it's left with you and the other figure just raising bids. Annoyingly, the other figure always raised 1 more when you raise a bid. Yeah. It's now coming to 260 or so, but every time you raise, he or she just
You
raises
just
1 more. Yeah.
Alright. Yeah, I'm gonna let him raise and then I'm gonna back out.
Alright, so he raised to about 270, and then he's like, oh shit. Yeah. So he's like 1, like they don't say 1, 2, 3. Just as Shade's hands are about to put onto the table, the guy just says, "It's off." And he just tries to walk away. You think Shade's immediately caught that, and he just snaps his finger, and 2 other figures just coming out of the shadow just grab him into the shadow, just vanishes.
Oh no!
If you don't want to bid,
Disappeared.
yeah. If you don't want to bid, don't. If you wish to mess with me, well, that guy will be praying for a quick death. Like I said before. I guess the bidding will go to the second place, and he looks at you, Tali.
Yeah, I'll take it. I hope I don't have to pay his price.
Well, you'll pay.
I'll
With
pay my last
yeah,
hit.
you'll pay 270, like minus the one he raised. Yeah. So So mark off 270 in exchange for a mysterious rod. Yep.
That I will soon identify.
Yes.
Yeah.
So do you wish to stay, or like the other like stuff is
No,
starting to
I'm
bid?
gonna-
Yep.
I'm gonna tap out and start heading to the Hall of Justice, see if everybody's still there.
Okay. So you leave, and the bidding still continues. You feel like someone's been watching you for a few blocks to making sure you're not spies or anything.